So good morning, team, and a very warm welcome to the TriTech Software Training Program team. My name is Abhishek. I'm the official trainer of this training batch, and this training program is conducted by TriTech Software Training Institute. And this training program is around Oracle Fusion Financial Cloud application. So as we understood in the yesterday's session, that what is the concept of ERP within the ERP domain, how Oracle has developed a product, what product we are talking about, that is Oracle Fusion, and within Fusion ERP product, what are the specific subject areas that we are talking about. So we are talking about the financials suite, and within financial suite, we'll be talking about the multiple financial modules, including all the core modules, and also we'll be looking into multiple other aspects of the application, which is more on the security side, on the approval side, on the oral admin side of the application, right? Now, in today's session, I'll give you more clarity on some more areas, and then also as a part of the session, we'll be looking into the application where we'll see how to access the application, how the application look like, and what are some of the key or prerequisite activities that we need to perform in order to start using the application. So as mentioned earlier, this training session is going to be no coding required sessions, means we will be learning into the application, how to configure an application, how to design the solution, how to use the application in terms of various business processes, and also how to align with the various solutions that we offer to various businesses depending upon the needs and requirement of the various business. Okay, so in this training program, we'll also be covering the various project phases. Project phases means as and when we implement the software application for any business. So it is implemented in form of a project where the project has multiple stages, and as a part of these stages, for each and every stage, there are some inputs that will be required, some outcomes of the project stages that will be achieved. So the same approach that is used in the day-to-day implementation, same will be used here, so that as a training consultant, you'll be able to understand how the project execution happens in real life business scenario, right? And what are the key outcomes of the project? And the ultimate objective or ultimate goal of this training program is to make you aware on the overall project execution approach, and to give you hands-on experience on the application. So as and when you are done with this training program, so you are capable enough to directly get deployed on the ongoing project activities, right? So let me move ahead with this. A quick introduction I'll give you about myself. So especially the students who were not able to join yesterday and have joined today only. So my name is Abhishek Kumar. I'm the Oracle Certified Implementation Consultant with overall 12 plus years of experience in Oracle consulting. So during this tenure, I have worked in various end-to-end implementation projects for various businesses, and also I have been part of various support projects. And in terms of legislation, I have worked in US, UK, Middle East, Singapore, Australia, right? And in terms of training, I have delivered more than 13 training programs, corporate training programs, where the training programs were conducted to upskill the knowledge and experience of the employees, where the Oracle platform is already implemented, right? And during this tenure, I have worked with various organizations, Deloitte, Oracle, EY, PwC, and multiple other mid-sized companies I've worked with. And as a part of certifications, I have done certification which are offered by the Oracle University. Now, some quick suggestions in terms of meeting. So recording is already started from our end. So these recording will be shared once we're done with the sessions. It will be uploaded in the official portal of the TriTech Software Training Institute, and access will be given to all these students after the completion of the enrollments. And during the meeting, my request is you can keep yourself on mute, and any questions that you have during the meeting, the Zoom chat option is enabled. You can type your question there. So we can take those questions at the end of the session. And if there's any question related to the training program, anything related, any career related queries, so those will also be taken care. And you can type those questions under the chat session section. My admin team is also there, so they'll be assisting you with the process. Now, a quick uh, overview of the agenda that we are going to cover today. So we'll start with the training outcomes. So some detailed discussion on the training outcomes. Again, some detailed discussion on the work profile. So we have discussed the work profile yesterday. Some more details on that part, and then we'll have a quick look on the implementation companies involved. So yes, in the yesterday session team, we have seen what are which are the different companies which are involved in the overall execution of the project, in the selling of the project, with some examples of the business where the Oracle platform has been implemented. So those will be covering here under implementation companies. And then we'll have a look we'll have a deep dive into the application, where we'll have a look how the Oracle Fusion application looks like, what are the basic user interface, what are the basic navigational components, and how to uh, complete some of the prerequisite in order to uh, get the application running. All right. So with this, let me start with the training outcomes first. So this is one of the very basic questions that we generally hear from the fresher consultants and also the consultants who are experienced in some other platforms, and now they are switching to Oracle Fusion Financials domain. So for them, I have prepared a quick presentation here, which will help you to understand some of the key points in terms of the training outcomes that we are going to achieve, or we are going to achieve as a part of this training program. So first is the product knowledge. So is this training program is going to enhance my product knowledge? Answer is yes. It has been designed in a way where the ultimate outcome is to enhance your product knowledge, to understand more about the product, like how the product works in the real life business scenarios, right? So this is something which will be there for both for the freshers as well as the experienced consultant, and especially if you are experienced in some other platforms and now you're switching to Oracle Fusion Financials, right? If you have already worked with Oracle Fusion platform before, so that is where you can upskill your product knowledge, right? So let's say you have worked in R12 or you have worked in e-business suite. So now you'll be getting an opportunity to understand or to deep dive into the Oracle Fusion architecture, to understand how the configuration part works, how the solutioning part works, or how the overall implementation approach works in case of Oracle Fusion. So that is where the target is, to upskill your product knowledge in terms of Oracle Fusion Financials module. The second point here, which we have mentioned here, is secure a job in the Oracle domain. So that is one of the very important aspects, especially for the graduates and the postgraduate students that we have. So now they want to enter into the field of Oracle financial domain or the ERP domain. So that is where main objective of training program is to secure a job in the Oracle domain. So this is also something which is applicable both for the freshers as well as experienced consultant. So even with the experienced consultants, we have the set of consultants who have previously worked in the Oracle platforms. Now, with the need of the day, they want to switch to Oracle Fusion Financials, whether in the existing organization or by switching into some other organization where they have Oracle Fusion Financial opportunities, right? Then enhance subject knowledge. So the methodology that we are going to use is real time training workshop, where you will be using the application in real time basis, and will be doing the end-to-end configuration, right? Which means that we'll be building up an application right from the scratch. In terms of solutioning, having a detailed discussion how the overall solution is designed, what are the key considerations in terms of solutioning, what are the key subject areas which should be touched upon in terms of creation of the solution, and what are the key documents that should be referred to in terms when we are executing a project in a real life time business scenario, right? So those things we'll be covering here. Also, I'll be sharing various project related experience where I have done projects in multiple industries. What are the key considerations that we have taken, and what are the best practices which are suggested in terms of the overall solution designing and execution of the project from Oracle side? That is also something which we'll be discussing. And this is going to play one of the very important role if going forward in future you're working on any end-to-end implementation project or any support project, where you have to refer to the best practice which are applicable across the industry in order to execute your ongoing tasks. So that is where we will be covering those subject areas also. Now learn about end-to-end implementation cycle. Yes, that is how we have developed the training program. So it will be just like a real time or real life implementation program that we are going to conduct through this training program, where multiple stages will be covering, right? What methodology Oracle use in order to implement the project. That is something we're going to discuss. In organization to organization means from one organization who's implementing the Oracle to other organization. What are the different approaches that is followed by various organization in terms of implementation? That is also something we are going to discuss. So that is going to give you a detailed overview that how various organization follows various practices in terms of Oracle implementation, and what are the key differences between those, and in what different certain like circumstances different approaches are something which is followed, right? So that is something where we'll be having a detailed discussion also. Now, last and not the least is they prepare for certification. So many of the consultants who join the training program with an objective that they have to further appear for the certifications exam, which is offered by the Oracle universities. So that is also one of the aspect that we'll be covering here. So this is something which is applicable both for the fresher and especially for the experienced consultant, where they want to switch to Oracle Fusion Financial. After doing the certifications, right? So that is one of the priority areas that they have. So that is also we'll be covering here, that how we can prepare for the certification, what are the current pattern that we have or ongoing pattern we have in terms of certification, because recently the overall certification exam pattern has been changed. Now it is more kind of practical based approach as well as theoretical based approach. Before it was 100% theoretical MCQ based questions that were there, but now it's practical based approach also that is used, where during the examination you are given the instance access, and you are given various case laws for the implementation of various tasks and functionalities, right? So that is also will be helpful in terms of our overall training program, where we'll understand the practical approach, we'll refer to the Oracle repository notes and all for the purpose of certification exam preparation also. I hope this has given you a understanding that what are going to be the outcomes in terms of training that we can expect here. Now, let's also talk about some of the roles that you can expect going forward. So, right. So, this is something we have discussed yesterday. But now, what I have done here, I have made a classification based on the vendor company, based on the consulting company, based on the end user company. Right. So, let me first give you a differentiation between these three. So, vendor company is the company which is Oracle Corporation itself, who has developed Oracle Fusion, right? Consulting companies means the companies who are in partnership Oracle for the implementation, for providing support to various end user companies uh, who have implemented Oracle or who are in process of implementing the Oracle. And end user companies are the businesses who actually work on the Oracle domain or Oracle platform, right? So when we talk about these roles, right? So where these roles are applicable, or whether you can get these kind of opportunities in any of these companies. So that is something I have mentioned here. So first is implementation consultant. So first here I have mentioned that yes, you can work as an implementation consultant in the vendor company. So in that case, the Oracle do has its implementation company, which is known as Oracle Solution Services, right? Which is operating in India as well as even in the other regions of the world. It has its presence where Oracle has its implementation practice, which is actually responsible for implementing various projects for various businesses. So you can also become a part of that particular practice, where you can become a part of Oracle Solution Services, and you can become a part of the implementation team. So same team is also responsible for providing support to various end user businesses, right? So Oracle is actively involved in that part also, right? So apart from the product development, it is also in the consulting field. Now here, consulting companies. So yes, consulting companies, their core business is implementation and support business only, right? So each and every consulting company, they have their Oracle practice, and that practice is responsible for implementing projects for various end user companies, right? And as a part of the consulting, you can become a part of the implementation team who are responsible for end-to-end implementation, who are responsible from bringing new updates or new for introducing new solutions in the business. So that is also where you can work with, right? Same way with the support consultant. As a part of the support consultant role, consulting companies also work for various support projects. So that is also where you can expect opportunities. And then finally you have the end user company. So this is where sometimes end user companies, right, depending upon the size of company, they also have their in-house implementation and support team. Correct. So many of the companies you'll see, they have their in-house IT team who is responsible for implementing new features, for implementing the new Oracle modules, and also providing support on the existing product. correct? So there you also have as a part of the end user company, you can also expect role in terms of implementation consultant and support consultant. Now, moving to the last, right? I'll speak this part later. So last is freelancer and contractors, right? So as a part of the freelancing and contracting team, nowadays you'll see, especially after COVID, you'll see quite a rise in the demand of freelancer and contractors, where where even the vendor companies, they hired the consultants on a freelancing basis, on a contractual basis for a specific product project assignment. Same way with the consulting companies also hire freelancers and contractors for specific project assignments, and even the end user company has that kind of opportunities. And you'll see quite a rise in the demand, especially after the COVID season, where uh, remote working kind of opportunities are also quite the demand has increased. Yeah, right. One of the most popular roles nowadays is product testing consultant, right? So initially, what used to happen, the vendor company or the consulting company, right? They used to implement for the end user company, and they had their own in-house team who's responsible to test the overall solution. Or they had a dependency on the end user company, where the end user company used to deploy a team who used to test the product, whether the product is working as per their business requirements or not, right? So that was very cumbersome task in itself, and a lot of issues were used to arise at that point of time. So then this role was introduced, where which is called as product testing consultant, right? So at all the three sites you'll be able to see the product testing consultant roles, which is like vendor company, consulting company, and end user company. So these are set of individual consultant who are only responsible for the purpose of testing the solutions that are offered by vendor company or consulting company to the end user company. So what happens here is, in this type of roles, you can become a part of the vendor company team or consulting company with the responsibility of whatever is implemented by vendor company or consulting company to the end user company. Same has to be tested and reported whether it meets the business requirement or not. And the same is also applicable in case of end user company, where the end user company hires the individual consultant only for the purpose of testing that whatever is being implemented by the implementation companies are meeting their business requirements or not. So nowadays, you'll see these specific roles also available in the market, where the consultants are hired only for the purpose of testing the product and as a product testing consultant. Before, like few years before, the only role was restricted to implementation consultant, support consultant, or freelancers or contractors, and the same was supposed to do this product testing part also. But nowadays separate profiles are available for the purpose of testing. So recently there was a huge hiring run which was run by the Infosys only with this profile called product testing consultant. That is something I know, but even other companies are also doing that. Even sometime back, few months back, Oracle also had the product testing consultants for testing their various solutions which are offered to the end user companies, right? So that is where also you can expect opportunities in terms of Oracle Fusion Financial Consultant. Now, let me give you some of the examples in terms of the organizations which are involved in terms of vendor company and especially consulting company and end user companies, right? So this data is something that I've taken from the official website of the Oracle, where they have mentioned their successful implementations in terms of some of the big organizations, right? And some of the examples I have taken from my end, where the various organizations, specifically in India, are also working on the Oracle Fusion platforms. And then we have a list of some of the consulting companies. Now, this is not the only list. Like, we have many other mid-size, small-size, big-size companies who are part of the Oracle consulting team or Oracle partners company across the globe. We have many companies, right? But some of the recognized names I have mentioned. So the vendor company is Oracle Corporation, right? Who has developed the product, and any new upgrades, any new enhancement, any new changes in the product is also taken care by Oracle Corporation, which is a US based company. Then we have a list of some of the consulting and partner companies in partner with Oracle. So various partners. So partners are listed like diamond partners, gold partners, platinum partners, based on from the different types of businesses or different types of agreements that have with Oracle Consulting, right? So you have some of the renowned names like Accenture, Cognizant, Deloitte, IBM, Infosys, PwC, TCS, Wipro, and many other, right? You have EY also here, right? TechM, you have and many other small size, mid-sized companies also you have who have partnered with Oracle, actively involved in the implementation of Oracle Fusion product across the globe, right? So now, if you have these many partners, companies who are in partnership with Oracle, they have separate Oracle practice here. So now, what you should be understanding here that as a practice team or as an implementation team, what they will be requiring, they'll be requiring various consultants to work with them to implement for the end user companies. Right. So that is where a lot of opportunities you can expect here in this part, right? Where for implementation and providing support to various projects, the various opportunities from time to time are released by these companies. Now, some of the examples of the end user company team. So where we have successful implementation already done in these companies where the Oracle Fusion financials, including financial suite, are being used by these companies. So one example is Bharti Airtel Limited working on Oracle platform. Then we have Bajaj Alliance Life Insurance Company from the insurance sector. This is from telecommunication sector, banking sector. You have SBI cards. Then you have Uber from the Uber US working on this Oracle platform, Zoom meetings also working, FedEx from the transportation and logistic business, Mazda manufacturer of hardware, and then Bosch. You have heard of Bosch, right? So these are some of the examples which have been listed directly on the Oracle official website as the end user company who are working on the Oracle platform. And that's not it. Like if you refer back to the website, you have huge list of companies across the globe who are working on the Oracle cloud platform, which is Oracle Fusion, right? All righty. So I think from this part, I think this is pretty clear that what we are talking about, what we are trying to cover as a part of the training program, what kind of opportunity we should be expecting once the training program is done. And so hope this has given you a detailed insight about the training program. Now, let me take you to the some of the important updates, which is let's navigate the application. Let's see how the application Oracle Fusion application looks like, and let's see how some of the prerequisite tasks are required to be done once we start using the application, right? So let me open a browser here, and let me also open an Excel here so that we can show you quick working here. Just give me a moment, team. So in order to access the application, we should be having three things. One is URL, ID, or we can call it as a user ID, and password. Okay. So let me show you the URL. So each and every software application or Oracle Fusion application will be having a dedicated URL, right? So this particular URL is representing one single application, one single instance, right? Now, business to business, this URL is going to vary. This is not going to be common for any business. Every time when a new application is released, or every time when a new uh, subscription is procured by a business, right? Because this is not license-based version. These are subscription-based models where based on whatever a business requires, they subscribe various services which are provided as a part of the ERP platform, right? So from the Oracle side, these URL are issued along with the some credentials, which are like initially the admin credentials are shared. Based on the admin credentials, various user accounts are created within the Oracle application. Right. So let's say, for example, here my user account name is hcm.lab, and then it has certain password. So it can be any password as per the convenience of the user, right? So what I need the access of these three for the purpose of accessing the application. Then along with that, yes, there should be internet connectivity and the device that should be there to access the application. Okay. Now, what I have done here, so I have entered the URL. Based on this URL, the screen like this appears where you'll be able to see sign in option, Oracle Applications Cloud version. Okay, then here you have your user ID, here you have the password, and the other option to sign in and recover the password in case you forgot your password. So let me enter the ID and password. So once you enter your user ID and password, click on sign in. Right, let me just open that again. And here, the first thing, what you'll be able to see here, you'll be able to see a welcome page. On the left hand side, on the top, you have the logo of the application, right? So this particular application is owned by the Vision business, so their logo is there. And then you have some of the key icons on the top of the list available here. So this is the home icon, right? So if you see your home icon here. So this is the default dashboard that we have, right? So now this dashboard is not something which will be common for every application. This is the custom dashboard in terms of reporting that has been developed for this particular application. So from application to application, depending on the needs and requirement of the business, this may vary. Okay, so let me take you to the home page of the application, which is the default dashboard or how the application looks like, right? So you click on the home page here, or you click on this logo here, right? Both will navigate you to the homepage only. And this is how the homepage of the application looks like, where you have the greetings, then name of the user, right? So my user name is hcm.lab, and here it is mentioned as hcm.lab. And then you have various icons available here on the screen. So I can navigate to the left hand side, to the right hand side, and I can check what are the various icons which are available here. Now, what these icons represent, team? These icon represents the type of functionality for which I have the access. Okay, so something very important here to understand, which is in the application, it's an ERP application. It has hundreds of functionalities, and as a user, I'll be having the access need based or requirement based, which means that I will be having access to only those functionalities which I'm supposed to perform or which I'm supposed to run as a part of the business requirement. So that is also something important thing that you need to understand. Now, this is a user that I'm already created and I've been using uh, for some good time. So I have access to multiple functionalities. So we'll also have a look how we can get the access of these functionalities. And by default, it will be only limited number of icons that will be visible by default, which will include this me, which will contain the details of my user account and also uh, the employee related details. So generally what will happen or when we are going to use the application, all the employees will be having their user account will be created in the application, correct? So employee will be having their employee data information. Along with that, they will be having the access of various functionalities that which they will be given access for. And who's going to give the access? The admin user is going to give them the access. Okay. Now, few things, very important things that we need to understand is how to navigate to the dashboard. This is how we're going to navigate to the dashboard or home screen. And then this is something which is important, which is called settings and actions. So when we click on settings and action, this is where we are able to find multiple tabs available into the application, right? These are the various options that we have. So first are some of the key things that we need to understand. This is where we can just sign out from the application, right? So this is the placeholder. And then something very important to understand is this one, which is called set preferences, right? So this is the first thing that when a user account is created that we should be actually doing as a part of the prerequisite, which is setting up the preferences here. So when I click on set, user preferences or this one, set preferences. So there are multiple options that we have which are available here. Now, some of the options are upfront applicable to us. Some of the options will be applicable on a later stage. So one such option is password. So in any case, if you want to reset your password, this is from where you can reset your password, unless if you already know your current password is, and then you can go to this regional information. So this is one of the important things that you need to fix it here. So here, by default, you'll see that these original level information it will be reflected here based on the US time zones and all, right? So by default, the territory is US, the currency is US dollar, the time zone is US only, right? But it will not always be the case that you're working in the US time zone and all, correct? Let's say I'm working in India time zone and I want that within the application, whatever functionalities or whatever process that I'm running, wherever the date, time, and all the other details are visible, it should be visible to me as per the Indian time zone only, right? So here, what I can do in the first place on the first day, as in when I get the credentials, I can fix these details, regional level details. Let's say I'm working from India. I'll mention this like Indian as the India as the territory, date format, right? Multiple date formats are there. Like almost all the date formats which are accepted across the globes are available here. Now here, what we need to understand, there are two options that we can choose to go with. One is the the format of date that you want your data to be in, or you want to be reflected on your application. That is where something you can choose to have here, or this is something which is followed as a part of your organization. Let's say if I'm implementing for some organization and the organization follows certain specific date format, time format, and everything, or number format, right? So that is where I need to fix this format as per the business requirement, or as per the internal policy of the business, right? Now, here I see this is one of the very effective way. Here I can read the date and a month clearly. So I'll use this format, correct? And then we have the number for time format, right? How we want the time to be reflected in hours, minutes, seconds, and all those things. So this will be pretty helpful when we are running various processes and various reports that we are running. So there we'll be able to find the timestamps according to the format that we have here. All right. So let me take one suitable format. You can go with 24 hours format. You can go with the 12-hour formats also. So let's say this is the format that I want to have. And then number format. So how I would like to have the number format. So some of the acceptable formats across the globe, we have it here, right? Negative will be represented by a negative sign, then followed by comma. So if you want comma like this, if your organization follows the digits like this or number format like this, you can also go with this one, right? So one of the most appropriate one is decimal one. So I can go with this one. And default currency, right? Default currency means based on the territory that I have selected here, automatically the default currency setting will be here. Now, this is nowhere reflecting the currency in which I'm going to do the transaction. It is only going to reflect the default currency based upon the region in which I'm working on, right? So this is also something I can fix here, and followed by the time zone. In whichever time zone I'm working in, that time zone I can fix, so that anytime, anywhere I'm working within the application, whenever the time stamp is reflected, so based on the time zone, it will be considered there. So let me quickly choose the time zone that we are going to follow here. So let me take the Indian time zone. So UTC plus 5:30 as Indian time zone, and I'll save this information. Okay. Now, what you need to understand, team, here, these changes that I've made here in the regional information under general preference, it is going to impact only my user account. So there can be a case where one of the user is working as per the US time zones in US territory, and he can have these kind of territory details as per his regional requirement. And if I'm working from India, I can have as per my regional requirements here, right? So team, hope that is okay. Now, is it something that you're going to do on a mandatory basis? If I don't do it, is it going to impact in any negative way? Answer is no, it is not going to impact in a negative way, but this is just going to uh, reflect all my data requirements as per the applicable regional requirements here, right? So whenever I'm running any process, or if I'm doing any reporting, so everything will be reflected based on these details here only. And even if I'm doing any transactions in the application, these number formats are something that will be used here for the purpose of recording the transaction. So I'll just save and close this thing. So this is going to be my first prerequisite in terms of accessing the application that I should be following.
Abhishek, can you say about the number format once again?
Okay, hold on. So let me go back to the set preferences. So here we have different number format that I would like to see when I'm doing any transactions in the application. So when I'm doing any transaction, definitely the amount will be involved and how I want the amount to be reflected here in which format. So these are various acceptable format where I have comma and dot separated decimal numbers. In some of the regions, I have this exponential mark and the comma separated decimals, right? So how I want to see the numbers in my application or for my user account is something that I can choose here, right? So generally how we maintain the number format, we use this format, right, where the decimal should be separated by a dot, right? So that is one of the most common one that we use, right? Wherever if you see in some of the countries where instead of comma they're using this icon as in order to separate the or in order to give you the amount format, right? So that is kind of number format that we can choose how our amount should be reflected into the application. And this is again going to be a user specific preference. It is not going to impact the overall application as such. All right, now moving back to the home page, let's also have a look into some other details. So once you have these kind of preferences set, right? So other thing is you should also be knowing, all right? So this is the user account that I'm using here, right? Which has already been created in advance. But what if the case you're working as an implementation consultant and then you get a chance to create a user account, right? So normally how it works is initially when the Oracle gives the subscription to any business, so it comes up with one default account, which is known as admin account, correct? So admin account has a URL, it has an ID password, correct? So let's say you have the same URL initially, and you have a ID as admin, password as admin. Correct. So this is going to be provided to the business. And now let's say if I'm working as an implementation team, right? So I need to configure the application. So that is where the first thing that I should be knowing is how to create my own user account. Correct. So user account creation is also something that we are going to learn in today's session. We'll understand how the user account creation works, and on the basis of that, how we are going to proceed with the other configuration related activities, right? So as of now, hope this is okay. How to navigate to the application, how the homepage looks like, how to set the preferences in first place, right? And next is we can look into the user account creation process. Before that, I would also like to draw your attention here, which is called about the application help, correct? So let's also click on this. Hold on. Let, okay, just let me just zoom out here. This one about this application, right? So I'll just click on this. What is this thing about the application? It gives you the details of the application, right? Which application version we are working on, and what are the other technical related technical details about this application, like which Oracle application development framework version is this, middleware extension in case we are doing the integration and we want to understand the framework with the current version of this application, and the database compatibility means database related details. Okay, something important for us to understand is this one, which is the current application version, right? So what this stands for, right? So let me also give you a detail on this part. So give me a moment, I'll also open another file here to give you details here. All right, so let me share this one. All right. So in order to understand the application release or the application version, what we need to understand the Oracle upgrade application upgrade policy. So what is the policy we have here? So Oracle follows the calendar year starting from Jan to December for the purpose of their application upgrade. Now the question is why the application needs to be upgraded. There are few reasons why application needs to be upgraded. One of the most important reason is to eliminate any kind of bugs. right? So let's say while using any functionality, any bugs are identified. Generally, nowadays it's very less because the product has already been developed. But especially these kind of bugs can be encountered if there are new functionalities, new features which are introduced initially, and as a part of the various business requirements, some bugs are identified. So in order to eliminate those bugs, the quarterly upgrades are released, right? So calendar year is something the Oracle follows, and the upgrade policy that Oracle follows is quarterly upgrade. So on a quarterly basis, each and every application across the globe, which is Oracle Fusion, is upgraded, and that upgrade is done by Oracle itself. Okay. So here the schedule that is followed is quarterly upgrade. So the 12 months are divided into four quarters: Jan to March, April to June, July to September, and October to December. Now, what has been done? These quarters, quarter one, two, three, four, has been denoted in this symbols. Quarter one is A, quarter two is B, C, and D onwards. Correct. And also the year, right? So here, if we look into the application uh, version, so it says 25A. So this 25 represents the year, right? So if I have 25 here, it will be 25A, then 25B, 25C, and 25D. Right. Now, why this is important to understand. So, current version is 25A, means the quarterly upgrade from Jan to March has already been done. Now we are running in the April to June, second quarter is there, right? So, somewhere between April to June, we can expect another upgrade into the application. And once the upgrade is done, so it will, the upgraded version will change to 25B instead of from 25A. Correct. That means now if we're already in the April, so we can expect that in the coming this month or the coming 1 or 2 months, we can expect another upgrade from Oracle. Generally, it is done in the first month or second month only, right? And another upgrade can be expected in this application, right? So what that upgrade will contain. So on that, Oracle has that policy. They'll release the notes on the latest upgrade, that what's going to be included in the new upgrades, right? So it can be new features or elimination of the existing bugs. So all those details are well provided in advance. Now, why we are looking into this? What is the need of this? So whenever you're working as a consultant on these applications, so the first thing that you should be seeing after setting up the preferences and all is what is the current version of the application that we are working on. And based on this information, we can clearly understand is there's any upgrade which is due on the application that we can expect in the coming days, or the application is the latest upgraded application, right? So that is not going to impact my configuration in any way as such, but this will help me to understand if there's any new features that I can expect as a part of the upgraded version, or any bugs which are there, which is already identified. Let's say you're working on a support project, so you have already identified a bug which is there in the application. So also based on the application status or application version, you can check that whether the upgrade has already been implemented, which means that bug should be now debugged, or that bug is now resolved or removed, right? So based on this, you can clearly identify that part. Now we have some other information here, which is 11 13 25 0 1 0. So what does it mean? So 11 represents the year 2011, right? So this has to do with the Oracle Fusion release history. So in the year 2011, so in the year 2006, it was introduced, and in the year later in 2007, the officially it was made available to the open world. Correct. So release 11 in the year 2001 was the release where the Oracle application was made available to the open world, which is considered one of the initial release of Oracle. So therefore, every time when you'll see release 11 is one of the release where the first, or is can be considered as the first release. So against each and every application, you'll see 11 as the starting number here. So just for the information, nothing to do with the uh, implementation and all, but for the information purpose, you should be knowing that this is sometimes even the business users are interested what this kind of information represents, right? So initial release was in the year 2011. Then in the year 2017 there was a release which is known as release 13, which was one of the most static release. Static release means before that there was a lot of bugs and those were identified, but after release 13 static release was introduced, which was considered one of the most stable release in terms of Oracle Fusion Financial. Year 2017 release 13, right? So that is where you'll see 13 as the number which stands for the static release for Oracle Fusion, right? Version release. Then 25 stands for year 2025, and 01 stands for the quarter, which is the first quarter. So this A can be read as 01 as the quarter, and point 0 means this is the only one upgrade that has been made. Generally there is only one quarterly upgrade that is introduced, right? So quarter A, 1A, B, C, D, and all. But in any exceptional case, if it is more than one release or one upgrade that has been done during the quarter, then in that case the zero value will change to 1, 2, and so on, right? Normally that doesn't happen. It is point 0 only because only one release during a quarter, and this is also something which is pre-scheduled. Everything like uh, Oracle pre-schedules these releases, and not only for the next 2-3 quarters, for next 1 or 2 years, everything is pre-scheduled. Like what are the upgrades that we are going to do, or what is it that we are going to upgrade. But in exception scenario, if there are any changes which are required, then multiple upgrades can also be applicable. All right. Now, this is kind of something which will help you to get the information about the application, that what current version is that. Are we going to expect any additional upgrade in the recent times, right? And normally we can understand from this way, but at the same time the admin user also gets well notified in advance, right? Weeks in advance they are notified that your schedule upgrade is planned on this date, this week, and all right. So those kind of schedule related or maintenance related uh, communication is very well done in advance by the Oracle, and it is communicated well to the admin users, right? So sometimes also you'll see when you're working on this application, you'll get those kind of notification from the admin team that in the upcoming week the upgrade has been scheduled and all, right? So is it going to i- uh, impact your configuration? Answer is generally no. You'll be able to use the application on that. But just for the information purpose, you should be aware that when the next upgrade is. Now, hope this is also okay. This is part of very basic navigations of the application. Now let's also focus team here. Let's try to understand how to create a new user. Now, uh, for the purpose of creation of a user, please assume that this HCM lab is an admin user who is having the access from Oracle side to create new user accounts, right? So in order to create the new user account, what we have something called tools here, and under tools we have something called security console here, correct? So we have to navigate to tools and to security console. Now what is this? These three lines, this is called the navigator, from where you can access various functionalities. Now what we need to understand, these are the various options that I have as an admin user, right? So maybe the case when you have your user account, you may not be ending up with these many options. Only the required options are available to you, right? Which you required for your day-to-day use, right? And one of the option is this one, security console, which is kind of admin option that we have, from where we can manage the account related activities for a particular user means whoever the employee of the organization can be the user who's going to use the application. That is one. And also we have the list of users from the implementation team. If you're going to be a part of implementation team or support team, so we'll also be, although we are not a part of the business organization, we are a part of the consulting team, then also we'll be having our dedicated user accounts available as a part of the application. Then only we'll be able to access the application and perform various configuration and support activities, right? Now what we need to understand is, anytime you want to go to any specific functionality, you have navigator as the option. But at the same time, Oracle has also provided you a shortcut here, right? If you don't want to follow this one, you can also navigate from left to right here, and same option is available here also. So if I go here, we have tools here. Correct. Within tools, you have the security console listed here. Correct. So both the options are one and the same thing. If based on the user convenience, both the side, the option has been made available. You can navigate from dashboard also, or you can navigate from navigator also, one and the same thing, right? What you can do, you can click on the icon. Correct. Now, this is not something that you'll be doing on a daily basis. Only if you are being assigned as an admin user who is responsible for creating the user account, then in that case, you need to do this activity, right? So here we have multiple options, right? So two of the most important option is this one, which is role, and one is the user, right? Role is something we'll understand later on. First, we'll concentrate on the user account creation process. We'll go to the user. Now this has been selected here. And then on the right hand side, we have an option called add user account. So this is going to be your first set of activities that you're going to do, especially if you're doing any project and as a prerequisite, you want a user account to be created. So maybe the case the admin user from the business side is already aware on the process. He'll be creating your user account, sharing the details with you, or he'll be asking your help that please help me to create your user account. So that is where as a consultant, you should be knowing that how to access the application, how to get the user account created, right? So I'll click on this add user account option here. All right. And then you have these details which you need to mention here. Now, one of the most important thing that which we need to understand, this single asterisk mark fields, right? Single star mark. So what it represents required field, means you can skip other field, that is okay, but you cannot skip this mandatory field. Means out of the name, first name and last name, at least last name should be there, right? Username, password, and confirm password, this should be there in order to create a new user account. Okay, so let me create a new user account. So let's name this user account as April 25 finance implementation.
Hello, Kumar.
Hey, hi.
Yeah, the main difference between admin and user is admins can have access to delete the data, right? Whereas users can add the data, but they cannot delete the data, right?
No, no, not like that. So admin user means admin users are those users who have, what happens is initially when, let's say, I'm the face of the business. I'm the authorized person on behalf of the business who's going to communicate with the Oracle team, correct? So when the business gets the application, right? How they get the application? They subscribe the application, right? So let's say as a business, I want the Oracle application to be implemented, correct? So there, what Oracle do, was the first time they'll be issuing the URL, they'll be issuing a admin ID and password, right? So admin ID password means someone from the business organization who is going to access the application for the first time, and then using that credentials he will be creating multiple user accounts, right? So especially these user accounts will be required for the implementation team who is going to implement the application. So let me just go back to my PPT and let me just quickly highlight it here what I'm exactly talking about. So hold on a second here. So we're talking about this part, right? So I've taken the subscription from Oracle Corporation. Let's say I'm a part of the Accenture team who is going to implement on behalf of Bharti Airtel Limited. So initially, the who is going to pay for the application, who is going to subscribe the application, it will be Bharti Airtel Limited only, correct? So Accenture is not going to buy any application, is not going to subscribe any application, correct? It is only the Bharti Airtel Limited who is going to subscribe the application. When the initial credentials are shared. So initial credentials are shared means this is an application which doesn't require installation and all, right? It just requires a URL, ID, and password. So the initial install credentials will be shared with the authorized person of Bharti Airtel Limited, and the person who's going to have the access in turn will be creating user accounts for the Accenture team, right? Because ultimately, let's say if I'm part of Accenture team now, I'm going to configure this application on behalf of Bharti Airtel Limited because I'm a solution expert. I know what kind of solutions are applicable to the business. So in that case, I'll be requiring various user accounts. Correct. So that is the first step we are doing, where we are creating multiple user accounts so that we can use those user accounts for the purpose of doing the configuration. Correct. However, this doesn't mean that the admin user has the access of all the data and all, because still the configuration is required. And later on, if the admin user wish to have the access of the data, so that is also something that can be done. But initially the role of the admin user is to help out in the creation of other user accounts. That is what we have. Then going forward, when we deep dive into this concept, we'll also look into, like, from the business side, from the configuration side, how we can create more admin user who are actually going to take care from the overall configuration set of view, right? So this is just, consider this for the purpose of initial access of the application. So who is going to have the initial access of the application, and on the basis of the initial access, how multiple user accounts will be created, so that we can start with the configuration aspect, right?
A quick question, please.
Yeah.
Yes. So if please, can you go back to the previous slide? Let me make sure that I've understood. Thank you. No, the other one you just passed.
This one.
Yes. Okay, let's say this Bati Airtel Limited is the end user. Does it mean that if this end user company, this Airtel, decides to buy uh to use the infrastructure of Oracle Corporation, that's Oracle Finance. So Oracle is the one to give the admin credentials to this end user. Then this end user, who is the Airtel, hires us to be a consultant, and we are essential. Then we are going to use the admin credentials that have been given by Airtel to create now new roles. Is that what
Right.
you
So
mean?
yes, that is how it is going to work. Correct. And in the upcoming sessions, right, when we're going to start the implementation, right, so the first thing that we are going to study, or we are going to discuss, is how the real-time project execution works. And as a part of that execution plan, I'll be discussing like how it works in the real time. Let's say if I'm a end user company, I'm wish to get the Oracle implemented. So how that overall process is going to start? What are these key stages that is going to come as a part of the process? And then how and when our role will be starting as an implementation consultant, right? So as of now, in this example, I'm considering that I'm a part of one of the partners company who's going to provide services to the end user company in order to get the product implemented in the end user
Yeah,
company,
thank you.
right? So based on that discussions, you'll get the complete set of activities that happens, and that will help you to understand when and where your role will start. Right. So that is also something we discuss. We'll not directly jump on the configurations and all. We'll first discuss that part, overall stages of the product project, and then based on that, we'll be starting our configuration. All right. So team, the first thing I'm telling you here is how to add a user account so that I can access, right? So let's consider this user account is for you for the training user, training students, correct? So that you can use this user account going forward for the purpose of doing various offline practice, right? So let's consider that as an example. Now let's say my name of the user is April 25 financial implementation. I can have any other name, right? Generally it will be the official email ID of the consultant that will be considered here. All the naming details will be there. Username can be their official email ID and all, right? So that totally depends what kind of naming convention business is going to use in order to create the or maintain the user account. Correct. So let me give some password here. Okay. So now I have entered the details. Mandatory details has already been entered here. Right. I'll just save and close. Correct. So now my user account has been created. Now let's try to access this user account what we have created. So I'll just use the URL. As I mentioned, you need the URL ID and password. So I'll open another window here. Enter the credentials, which means URL first. Enter the ID and password. So what I have here, ID I have noted down here. Here I'll enter the ID, password, and enter. So once the user account is created, the user will be provided with that account credentials, right? the URL ID and password, and then we will be able to access the particular application. Now this we can ignore because this is a custom page. What we need to focus on, home page. So you can go from logo or you can click on this icon, and this is how the home page looks like. Right now you have these details: April 25 finance implementation. This is your username. You have the greetings, and then you can initially set the preferences here. Right now you see you have very limited options. You have just set preferences as the option. About this application you can check, so you can sign up from this application. Correct. Very limited options in comparison to the admin user. Reason being, admin user have access to multiple options or multiple functionalities. Correct. And even if you see, you don't have so many icons available here. Only the basic information of set preferences, report analytics, and others where you have some licenses related information on all those things. Right. You don't have access to any other functionality here as a part of the your user account. Now the question is, I have the user account, correct, that has been created. Now if I want to start the implementation, I want to start the configuration, so what are the things or what are the prerequisites that I should be doing in order to get it this working? Okay, so that is also we need to understand. So here let me draw your attention on the, so understanding of the Oracle Fusion UI, that is something we have done. Now we need to have an understanding how to get the access of various functionalities. So that is where we need to understand the concept of security in Oracle Fusion. So the concept which works is who, what, and which data, right? So there is these three concepts we need to understand. Who means which user need to have the access. Second is what kind of data access he should be having, or what access he should be having. What means different types of module, whether he should be having access of the accounts payable, account receivable, general ledger, right? Or he should be having access to do the setup or configuration for the application. And third thing is which data. Which data means now we are implementing an application, right, which is going to be specific with respect to a business, right? So in this case, let's say we are implementing for Airtel, Bharti Airtel Limited, correct? So data means we should be having access to Bharti Airtel Limited, or if there are multiple companies which are being implemented in this single application, then out of that we should be having access to which particular data, means which company data. Correct. So there I have given you one more concept, which is means this application that we are going to use, ERP application, the usage is not restricted to only one company. Let's say if we are implementing for a group of companies which have 10, 20 companies, then we need not to buy separate licenses for 10, 20 companies or separate subscription for 10, 20 companies. Only one single application can be used where we can configure all 10, 20, 30, 40 companies in one single application. Correct. And that is where it is important to understand this aspect, which is called which data. Means if I'm having the access of the accounts payable or general ledger module, then out of that, which company data I should be able to access, that is also something we need to understand in terms of this data security. Correct. Now, the concept that we have in Oracle Fusion is role-based security model, which means that there is something called roles which are attached to the user account. And once those are attached to the user account, then user will be able to see or user will be able to use those functionalities. Correct. So in our case, as of now, April 25 finance implementation have no access. So in order to get the access, roles need to be assigned to this user. Correct. So the first thing that I'll be requiring here is access to configure the application. Means the configuration related as access that I should be having for this user account. So what I can do, first thing I'll be doing here is, this is the my user account, admin user account. I'll go to the users here. I'll search for the user that I've created. So this is the user account. I'll open the user account from here and then edit it, and then we'll be giving the roles. So here you see roles which are there. So as of now, no role is provided to the particular user. Once I assign the roles, based on the roles, user will be able to access various functionality. So the first role I need to give this user is to allow the configuration of the application. So here we have a role with the name as application. ON implementation consultant. So if you see, application implementation consultant is the role that we should be having, we should be giving to a specific user in order to enable the user to initiate the configuration of the application. Then going forward, we have rules against all the modules like accounts payable, account receivable, general ledger. So whatever module configuration that we are going to do, against that we'll be assigning the roles so that we will be able to test various functionalities, right? So two things we'll be covering here as a part of the training. One is the configuration and one is the functionality testing. Configuration means various modules will be configured here, means GL, AP, AR, cash management, fixed asset, these will be configured. And functionalities means based on the configuration, what are the various functionalities which are applicable, which should be at par with the business requirement. So those functionality testing is something we'll be doing it here. Now, in order to start the configuration, the role that you should be having is application implementation consultant. This is the first role that you should be assigning to the user, or it is the admin user generally who, while creating the user account, he assigned this role also, so that particular user, when he's accessing the application, he do have that option to uh, do the configuration. Okay, so based on this, we should be doing the configuration, and later on, when we start using the functionality, at that point of time, application wise role we will be assigned. So we have roles for GL, we have roles for AP, we have roles for AR, for AP, AR, cash management, fixed asset. Each module wise, we have different roles available into the application that we'll be using here. Okay, so focus only on this part as of now to understand how this works. And then once I assign this role, so let's say I'm assigning this role, add role to membership, done, save and close. So from the admin user side, I have selected this user, assign him this role, correct? And now let me click on done. Now I'm switching back to the new user account that we have created. So this is the user account, right? April 25 finance implementation. Correct, here I don't have any options. So let me just sign out here and then sign in again. So normally once you assign the roles, you need to sign out and sign in again, so that the functionalities gets upgraded in the background, right? Just to refresh the application, right? All right, so I'll go back on the home page here. So this is my home page. Let me try to uh, check here. So what I'm expecting here, now we should be able to have the access. So as of now, I don't have the access again. So let's wait for a few seconds more. So still not available here. So what we are expecting here to be reflected, we are expecting this one. So let me, this is my admin user, right? Let me go to the home page here. And what is the expectation here? When we click on this, we should be able to find something under administration called setup and maintenance. So this is the placeholder from where we can do the configuration, correct? So that is something which I'm expecting to be available for the new user account to be available here, correct? Normally, once you assign the role, you sign out, you sign in, and then immediately it is reflected, correct? Sometimes it may take few seconds or minutes to refresh, and then these kind of values should be available, correct? Let's try to redo it again here. If it is not visible, then no problem. We'll use another account here to understand this. Right. So now it should be visible. So now it is updated based on that role. Various options that were related or that were connected to that role are appearing here, including the one which is set up in maintenance, right? This is it. April 25 finance implementation. Only 4 or 5 options were visible before. After assignment of the role, sign out and sign in, and then you have this option available, which is called setup and maintenance.
And Abhishek, why should we add only that role?
So normally what happens for the configuration, we need only one role, which is application implementation consultant, correct? Now, what approach we are going to use here, that as and when required, whatever role is required, we'll be assigning that role. So multiple times we'll be accessing this screen and we'll be assigning the roles, correct? So it can be done two way. One is right in advance, we can do that. But as of now, even if I assign multiple roles, it's not going to make any sense because we're not aware of the various concepts. So the first thing, step by step, will go. For in first stage, one role at a time, and then as and when we require more roles will be assigned there. Okay.
Okay.
All right, team. Now, this is how the setup and maintenance screen look like. And now, as it is an ERP application, so you'll be able to see various other options like financials, you have human capital management, you have order management, you have procurement, you have product management. So all these are different working areas which are offered as a part of the ERP application. Okay. So first, what you need to do, you need to select the setup work area as financials, because now we are dealing in financials, right? So you need to set up here as financials. You have to choose the correct option as financials. When you choose the correct option as financials, you'll be able to see all financial related modules are listed here. So these are for example, general ledger, you have payables, you have payment, you have cash management, correct? So various modules are available here. So when I click on any of the module on the right hand side, I can see various configuration related aspects, or we call it as task configuration related tasks, which are available here, correct? So what we are going to do, team, we are going to understand which of these tasks are applicable, which of these tasks are something that we can utilize for doing our configuration. Now here specifically from the TriTech team side, training team side, what we have developed something very important here. So normally what happens is whenever so this is something that you will see in other organizations also, which is like whenever you do the task configuration, this is where you'll be landing up. You'll be identifying the task, or you have to recall the task from your own side, and then you have to configure that task, means respective task configurations will be done. But just to make it easy and just to make it more project oriented, I mean how it should be done in a real time project, we have something called configuration workbook. So let me also open that and showcase to you. Give me a moment. So here, what we have developed as a part of the training program, we have developed something called configuration workbooks. So module-wise configuration workbooks we have developed, which is in Excel format. So if I open these configuration workbooks, so what you have here, you have all the tasks which are mentioned in sequence that you need to perform in order to configure a respective module, right? So here we have all the tasks related to general ledger listed here, right? So if you have to anytime, even in the real business scenario also, you have to configure the application specifically, let's say general ledger module, you can reuse this configuration workbook, right? So if I go to the index, this is the task name that we will be configuring in sequence in order to do our configurations. And also here, if I go to the individual task here, whatever the data which is required to be maintained, same in the application which has to be configured, same is mentioned here in terms of data. Means we will be following this configuration workbook in order to do the configuration. So that is kind of will make the things easy for you. You can keep a track of whatever configurations that you are doing. You can maintain your own data in the configuration workbook, and then in turn you can configure the same to the application. So this is one of the very easiest way to keep a track of your configuration. Also to understand at what stage we are, what is the set of data that we are going to configure, right? So instead of recalling these names, there is no such need. You can just follow the configuration workbook, and using this configuration workbook, you will be able to uh, configure the specific module. Okay. And these configuration workbooks not only restricted to GL, all the modules we have prepared in advance along with the sample data. So anytime if you are doing the configuration, you can use this sample data, or you can recreate, you can update the sample data with your own set of data, and then you can configure the same in the application. Now, one of the most, again, the important thing is there, whatever task name here are exactly the same which are there in the application, and whatever the information which is required to be configured also step by step is mentioned here. correct? You can follow the same. And what we are going to do going forward, we are going to discuss each of these fields here and what the meaning of these fields, when it will be used, right? When we start the configuration, and what is the meaning of, so that it is going to give you a detailed understanding that if I'm going to do some configuration, so it is not just like copy paste that I'm doing. I'm also having a detailed understanding what is the relevance of this configuration in terms of solutioning that we are going to offer to the business, right? So these sessions are going to be very detailed sessions, team. And yes, your presence is very much required. Don't be just dependent on the recorded sessions, that yes, sessions being recorded will refer to the recorded sessions. No, be there regularly in the class, various detailed concept, uh, implementation experience. I'll be discussing various set of things we'll be discussing in terms of solutioning, how to implement, how to configure, how to use the functionality, what are the do's and don'ts in terms of application. Everything will be discussed here, and very detailed session will be there. Now, as specified, 8:30 to 9:30 is the official timing during working days, and but there can be 5-10 minutes more that we will be based on the on your availability, we can extend, because there are many topics which require detailed discussion which may not be able to complete in one single hour, so sometimes it may get extended, but that totally depends on your availability, that if you guys are available we can extend the session, else we can wrap it up in uh, 1 hour also, right? But what we need to understand here is going forward, a huge volume of tasks we are going to cover, right, as a part of the application, right? So we're not just learning from the functionalities perspective that how to use the application. We are learning both the sides, how to configure the application, how to, based on the configuration, how to use the various functionalities, right? So hope that is okay. And that is where I'll stop for today. And
Yeah.
let me,
Abhishek, one question from my side.
yeah.
So, do we able to connect the database as well to check the configuration from backend?
No, backend database is something that will not be having, because in Oracle Fusion, the access in order to access the backend data, you should be using the SQL queries. You should be knowing how to use SQL queries and access the data. But
Yes.
again, same thing I'll explain here also. You have the access in one or two tools, like OTBI reporting is one of the tools where you can use the SQL queries and you can access the data. But in comparison to the other Oracle platforms like previous versions, where you were able to uh, view the data plus update the data, in Oracle Fusion, it is only restricted that you can view the data from the backend database. You cannot change or modify the data, right? That modification access is not something which is there, right? Whether it's
No,
this application, yeah.
in in some other kind of customization projects, we used to
Hmm.
have backend data. We used to manipulate the data from backend
Correct,
during the troubleshooting sessions and all.
correct, correct. So
So
here, what happens in Oracle Fusion? All the seeded database tables, the access is only restricted to view only. You cannot directly
yes, yes,
manipulate the
that is
data,
fine.
right? Yeah.
Even though just whatever we are going to add from our side, so if we could have a chance to view those tables also, that is fine because
That
how those
Yeah. So
yeah.
default access is there. You can, if you know how to use the SQLs and all, so you can access the data, that is possible.
Okay, so now with with this vision operations instance also, we will be able to access it, right?
Yeah, yeah, you'll be able to access it.
Okay, okay.
Hi Abhishek, I have a couple questions.
Yeah,
Will you be sharing this spreadsheet configuration worksheet with us?
everything, everything.
Okay, and
So
like all the business process flows, including the workflows and configuration, you will cover end to end, or you'll be covering like a very high level?
no, we will be covering end to end to the extent possible.
Okay,
So
okay,
so that
that's
means, basically that means is we will be as I mentioned, we'll be doing a real time implementation, which means that we will be discussing the solution. Based on the discussion, we will be doing the configuration, and then based on that configuration, we will be doing the functionality testing. So it will be a kind of detailed one.
okay, great. And I'm also interested in the reporting side of things like
Mhm.
OTBI and FRS. Do you have any separate training program for the reporting?
Uh, if for FRS training and other Hyperion reporting tools, that you can connect the admin team for a separate program, but OTBI is something
Particularly
that
OTBI. Yeah.
OTBI will be covering in our sessions.
Okay. Okay. Perfect. Thank you.
Sorry, one more question. So do we have in Gen AI usage also in the session?
Do we have, sorry?
generative AI usage is going to be covered?
No, that I think so. These AI, many of the AI models are based on the subscription, right? You have to take separate subscription. So I think these are not enabled here in this instance. If anything is available, then that is something we can cover. But now, as of now, what I know that by default, nothing is coming in terms of AI by default. So it is like on a pay basis where you have to, business has to subscribe it on a subscription basis, and then those will be available, right?
Yes. Business needs to subscribe, but what I'm trying to, get you from is, so do we have any option in using Vision operations in a
That we can check.
generative
That
AI?
we can check. Yeah, we can check.
Because some of the HCM modules already it is there, and then they are using
Correct.
successful. So that's why I'm expecting in a finance side also, because AI is going to be enter now in a finance modules. How it is going to be work, even we are very curious to see that, and then maybe we are expecting some more opportunities in that area.
Yeah, we can check that part. Yeah, sure.
Okay.
And Abhishek, one more thing.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever you covered topics today, can
Mm-hmm.
we get in the written format? Like for example, we were created the account of the user, like that for
Yeah. So
by
when
step by step.
step by step, yes. So apart from the recorded video, when we are going to discuss the configuration in detail, right? So these things will are also something which will be mentioned in the configuration purpose. So we'll take care of that part also.
Okay, thank you, Abhishek.
All right. So here, team, again, a quick update here. So again, the admin team has extended the early bird offer for today also. If you complete your enrollment by today, you can take advantage of the early bird offer. And from tomorrow onwards, a new link will be shared to all the students who have confirmed the enrollments, completed the enrollments, and along with the server access, along with the web portal access for accessing the recordings, right? So if I have not already completed, please do complete and then expect a new link which will be sent to you. And going forward, what official WhatsApp group will also be created where we'll be communicating all the details related to the batch, including the meeting links, including the credentials, including the all the official documents that are discussed during the sessions. All will be shared there only. So it is not only restricted to these presentations or the configuration workbook, even the other documents like file-based loaders, the data loaders, and the other relevant documents related to the training program will be shared in the official WhatsApp group. So if you have not done the enrollment completion part yet, please do connect with the admin team, get it completed, and let's connect back tomorrow from 8:30 to 9:30. So thank you, team. Thanks for joining, and let's connect back from tomorrow and from where we'll be starting the regular
Thank
session.
you.
So thank you and have a
Yes,
great day.
Abhishek, one question.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, Abhishek, you have shown us the HCM admin account, right?
Mhm.
So in that we will get access for free trial for 7 months, right?
You'll be getting the excess of 7 months. Yes.
Yeah, we will be an user in that admin account, right?
You'll be an
Or
users, not the admin.
yeah, we will not be the admin, but we will be getting
Mhm.
added as a user, right?
Yes. User
In the
credentials
same
will be
admin
shared with.
account.
Yes, will be shared with you, and using the same, you can do all the offline practice. Offline means after the session, all the practice the sessions that you're going to do at home. So that is something you'll be doing there.
Okay, for getting access, we need to contact the admin team, right?
Correct. So anything related to the application, anything related to the
Product side, yeah.
web portal, and anything related to any credential site, right? Or any training related
Mm.
enrollment things. Those for those areas, admin team is something they'll be responding you back.
Okay. Okay, got it. Okay, thank you, Abhishek.
So all right, team. Thank you. Thanks for joining, and see you tomorrow. Have a great day. Thank you.
Thank you, Abhishek. We'll join
Thank you.
tomorrow.
Sure. Thank you.